Hello, everybody. My name is Shiva. I work for Ericsson. So I want to talk to you about Ericsson and what it does for the good of humanity. Ericsson is a very socially responsible company. It's a very old company. It's over 100 years old. So it's one of the long-standing technology companies. The company has got it's divided into 4 different sectors. Networking, we focus on core networks, mostly telecom and IT telecom networks. We focus on IT and media and on industries. I head one of the large divisions in the media group. So, but the other big industries are networking, core networks being the bread and butter of the company. We are all in all about 110,000 employees. We serve over 1 billion people directly on the cellular services, and through telco companies we serve another 2.5 billion people. 40% of the world's mobile traffic is carried by our networks. So essentially we believe that by 2020, 95% or 96% of the population of the world will all have broadband connectivity. The world will be a networked world. So we would like to build our technology for the good of humanity. That's what the purpose is and the main intention is. Of course, there's a profit motive as well, but we do not believe that profit gets in the way of doing good. The important thing is we want to provide communications for all. The other thing is that we want to be socially responsible. That means the carbon footprint and the energy consumed by our equipment is all. We are very conscious of how much energy we consume. They are all tuned to consume less. We are aware of climate change and destruction to the environment that our equipment could create. So we like to be quite responsible. Also, we build trust through responsibility. The other important thing is we do several social projects. One of the big projects we do is response to emergencies. Okay, there's other things we do such as Connect to Learn. Connect to Learn is another project we do in collaboration with Columbia University. Okay, so I'll talk about 2 of those initiatives today. The Ericsson response, for example, was started in 2000. We work in conjunction with the United Nations. Essentially, in the last 40 disasters that happened since 2000, we were involved in all of them, over 30 countries. Most of the people who contribute to this are employees of the company. This is a non-profit thing that we do. It is non-commercial, non-political. So, should there be a disaster, and if the country that has the disaster requests the United Nations would dispatch us as a part of the communications paradigm. We are the first guys to show up at a disaster. There are 3 key elements as a part of our response for a disaster. We send volunteers, we have technology, that's the important part, and we have partners. When I say technology, we have technology called WIDER, for example, which is based on satellite technology. We can very quickly install network connectivity. I'm not talking telephone network, I'm talking of Wi-Fi networks for communications. We can very quickly give you Wi-Fi and internet hotspots for communications in a disaster area. If you're wondering why would somebody who just lost his house want a Wi-Fi connectivity, it is not for the guy who lost his house. It is for those many organizations that will land over there that require communications. So there will be lots of aid organizations that will come. And to coordinate the logistics, you need communications. Without it, you can't be effective. So one of the first responders is us, and I explained to you, one of the technologies we do deploy is Wi-Fi connectivity. There are other things we do deploy. We do deploy cellular connectivity as well. So we used Wi-Fi connectivity in the most recent disaster in Nepal. And prior to that, in other countries we used, like in Haiti when we had a massive, hurricane in Haiti, we deployed cellular connectivity, where we left for 40 square miles, we had cellular connectivity and we left the equipment for them to use. So we are again dispatched by the United Nations. We don't go off and do that work unilaterally. We work in conjunction with the United Nations. An important thing is that all the volunteers there are our employee volunteers. There are 150 of them. We do IP networking, communications, logistics, training, administration, support, all the kind of things that are needed at the time of an emergency. And once again, this is not for the people in the village who got devastated. It is for setting up an infrastructure for support services to work. This is all the disasters the company has been involved in. And if you can see just about all the natural disasters that happen in the world. Back in Nepal, we were there in 24 hours. This was in 2015. We had a massive earthquake there. Once we were there, we set up the communications for about 1,000 users, over 130 humanitarian organizations. Again, these 100 users are not local guys, or these are guys who are from the organizations. Similarly, but back here in Nepal, we were doing Wi-Fi communications, providing Wi-Fi connectivity for the first responders. But back in Haiti, we provided GMS communications. That means cellular networks were installed very quickly within 24 hours, so that you can have cell phones that work over a 40 square mile area. And once the relief is done, we would leave typically the equipment in place until they can replace it. Here's a little video about what the company does as first responders.
Ericsson Response was founded in the year 2000, really by a group of employees that knew that they were sitting on something pretty powerful when it came to humanitarian response.
We go to countries and places when they are at their worst, they will hopefully never become worse than they are at that moment. And we try to establish communication by bringing in our own equipment and expertise.
Access to information and communication is as important as shelter, food, and water, and is becoming that life-saving critical need.
It's no longer one of those nice to have, it's an absolutely essential. By working together, by leveraging the expertise, the equipment, the solutions, we can be much more effective and provide a better response. A better response means we can save more lives.
We've responded to more than 40 disasters in 30 countries, and that means literally tens of thousands of humanitarian workers have been able to access communication in vital circumstances.
First time we presented wider at the UN, they was just laughing at us. IT has nothing to do in the disaster, they said. I don't think the relief organization really realized in the beginning how much help this would be to them.
The first ever emergency that we responded to on a large scale was Afghanistan in 2001, where we brought in a full GSM network to Kabul, the first ever mobile network in the country.
And the situation in Kabul was, of course, not that easy at the time, no. And we stayed there for six months. We gave out phones to all the communities, all the humanitarian organizations, all the UN agencies. And after 2-3 months, Kofi Annan sent a letter to Kurt Hellström to thank him for this job.
Ericsson Response truly was ahead of its time. It's almost an iconic type of program. If we look over the last 15 years, how the nature of disasters have changed. I mean, this year we just had our first experience in West Africa with Ebola. I mean, it's the first time we deployed staff in a health or disease-related emergency.
After the tsunami in Indonesia, I thought there must be more I can do, and then there was an article internally at Ericsson that said we have this program and we're helping.
And as soon as I read it, I sent my application pretty much straight away. I just really wanted to be a part of it if I could, yeah.
It's all about volunteers, so it's their effort and their blood, sweat and tears that earn us that reputation altogether. Yeah.
I've been with this program from the very beginning, and I still see these all volunteers that I train, and it's such a nice feeling to see that they're still there, and they seem to love it.
So Ericsson Response is one of the things we do. Another thing we do is to Connect to Learn. It's another initiative that we follow with, that we do with Columbia University. Connect to Learn, by the way, is going to rural places. 1 minute, okay. Is going to rural villages and to educate women, essentially educate women. I'll leave you with a video of it.
This project is so completely unique because it's really the first ICT for education project in the country. And I think that having a program here on Connect to Learn, it's exactly the right time, exactly the right place, and it's actually possible to do it today because we have the coverage that's needed.
As part of the Girls Education Challenge program that the UK Development Agency, DFID, had put in place, we decided together to join forces. We felt that this was a great place for us to actually contribute to the positive development, sustainable development of Myanmar.
အစီအစဉ်ကိုဆောင်ရွက်တဲ့အခါမှာကျွန်တော်တို့ခုစတင်တဲ့ pilot project ရှေ့ပြေးအစီအစဉ်မှာစတင်ပြီးတော့ပထမအဆင့်အနေနဲ့ကျောင်းအဆင့်ပေါ့ကျောင်းအဆင့်ကိုပြည့်စုံစွာသင်ကြားလေ့ကျင့်ပြီးတော့အောင်မြင်ထိအောင်ဆောင်ရွက်တယ်လို့ဒုတိယတစ်ဆင့်အနေနဲ့မြို့နယ်အဆင့်ပေါ့မြို့နယ်လိုက်အဆင့်မြို့နယ်အဆင့်တွင်ကျစွာဆောင်ရွက်ပြီးတော့ထိုမှတစ်ဆင့်နိုင်ငံတော်အဆင့်ထိဆင့်ငယ်ကြဲပြန့်ပြန့်ပို့ပြီးအသုံးပြုလို့ရှိရင်ထိရောက်တွင်ကျတဲ့ပညာရေးစနစ်တစ်ခုဖြစ်တယ်လို့ပို့ပြီးတော့လည်းပညာရေးစနစ်တွေအထောက်ပံ့ဖြစ်စေမယ်လို့မျှော်လင့်တယ်လို့အဲ့လိုလည်းဖြစ်စေချင်ပါတယ်
Not only is this the first ICT for education project in Myanmar, it's also one of the first really true public-private partnerships that's working very closely with the Ministry of Education, with UNESCO, with the Earth Institute, Ericsson, and MPT, which is the local operator. So bringing these partners together, all that have a very unique contribution to the project.
You know, the people think it's in it, like a lily, and Nina Lava, think it's in it to Lama Shout. Good Lama Shout, the Platia, the Dominica Masatia, Minica Satia, the Platia, and the Platia, near solution, the blue say, I have Lansha, Pugro, Miana Jow.
As you know, a solution could Lashima, not test for print and media, print and media, don't they at the same video, electronic media. အဲ့လိုမျိုးခင်ပြီးစက်ပစ္စည်းတွေနဲ့ဤပညာတွေနဲ့အသုံးပြုရတဲ့အတွက်ကြောင့်မို့လို့နိုင်ငံတကာအဆင့်မီလာတယ်ပေါ့နိုင်ငံတကာအဆင့်မီလာတဲ့ပြီးတော့ဟိုအရင်တော့ဆိုလို့ရှိရင်တမျိုးကျောင်းတက်တော့ဆိုလို့ရှိရင်ဆရာမတွေက blackboard whiteboard တော့မပေါ်သေးဘူးအဲ့တော့ဆိုရင် blackboard မှာမြေဖြူနဲ့သင်ဖြတ်ပြီးရင်ပြန်တွက်ပေါ့ကလေးတွေအဲ့လိုမျိုးကျမတို့သင်ကြားခဲ့ရတာပေါ့နော်အခုဆိုရင်ကလေးကတော်တော်များများအဆင့်မီလာကြပြီဟောလည်းတူလား project ကြောင့်ဒီမှာကျောင်းမှာခုနပြောသလိုမျိုးသူတို့ tablet တွေနဲ့အသုံးပြုသင်ကြားခွင့်ရတဲ့အတွက်သူတို့ဟာတန်းတူအခွင့်အရေးကလေးတိုင်းဟာဆင်းရဲချမ်းသာမရွေးအားလုံးတန်းတူအသုံးပြုခွင့်ရတဲ့အတွက်သူတို့ရဲ့အနာဂတ်ကိုတန်းတူစိတ်ကူးအကောင်ထဲပေါ်ခွင့်ရခဲ့တယ်လို့ပြောစားပါတယ်